is one of those soups that they bring out at the beginning of your meal and charge you $4 extra for. That's stupid. You can make your own for much cheaper, and it tastes much better too. So in this large pot that I have on medium heat, I have about a teaspoon of vegetable oil. To that, I'm going to add 2 of these Italian sausages.
Hi, Delia. You want to help Mommy in the kitchen? It's my little KitchenAid. Yeah, it's hot on the stove. You shouldn't. How about you be by Mommy's feet?
Well, these sausages, sometimes you can actually get the Italian sausage just loose as sausage meat. But these came in the casings. If they came in the casings, you want to just squeeze it out of the casing. You can chop this with your knife, but just pull it out of the casing in little bits, like this, kind of like very tiny little meatballs, and just drop them into your pan. Doesn't matter if the pan is still cold at this point. Throw the casing away. Once the sausage bits have developed a little bit of color, it takes a few minutes, it's time to add in the onions. This is a medium-sized onion, just diced. Salt. Let these onions sweat for a couple minutes. After the onions have gotten a bit translucent, that's a couple minutes later, add in 2 gigantic cloves of pulverized garlic. And you want a couple teaspoons of fresh chopped rosemary that you bought at the store. Also to the pot, we're going to add about a half teaspoon of sage. And 2 overflowing cups of diced, to fit nicely into a spoon, potatoes, in air quotes. And then you want to add 4 cups of chicken stock, preferably homemade. I have this half a cup or so left over of the game hen broth that I made last time. And the rest of this is homemade chicken. Cover and simmer this for about 45 minutes, and then we'll come back to finish it up. Alright, the celery root is done, which means that the soup is done. So the next 2 things that I need to add to the soup are fresh kale and cream. Now the problem with adding kale to the soup right now as it is and cooking it to perfection is once it sits in the refrigerator overnight and is left over and then reheated, the kale is going to be slimy and gray and disgusting. Blech. Problem with adding cream at this point also is when it's reheated in the microwave, the cream has a tendency to separate and get kind of greasy. Neither of those are really desirable things. So what I'm going to do actually is kind of unorthodox. I'm going to serve out what I'm going to eat right now into this bowl, this microwave-safe bowl. You want about 3 to 4 ladles. Here's some lovely organic kale. Just break off little pieces of it and make sure it's submerged in the soup. Now again, just make sure it's fully submerged in the liquid. Cover it with a dinner plate, and then just microwave this. I do it for 3 minutes, and then I start checking the kale for doneness. You don't want the kale to be overdone. You want it to be nice and al dente. And 3 minutes did the trick. The kale is nicely cooked without being slimy. Now, only one final step remains, and that's to garnish it with cream. And behold its beautiful, nourishing, not even slightly Olive Garden-y goodness.